Let me request the producers to patch your line back on, Radhika. Radhika, hold on. I'm going to ask your producers to patch your line back on. In the meanwhile, we also have Tara Krishnaswamy, who's an author and activist, joining us live from Bengaluru. Anurag Naidu, member of Think Right, also joining us. First up, I'm going over to Tara. Tara, your first up reaction on this story that's breaking out. The Apex Court verdict is in favor of all the women devotees. It's been a landmark Supreme Court verdict. It's received praise from several rights groups and rationalists, but it has definitely irked devotees in the state and beyond, given the fact that we are seeing those protesters on ground.
Absolutely. I think the Apex Court verdict is actually, I wouldn't say it's in favor of women and devotees. I would say it's in favor of the Constitution.
Yes.
The Constitution is a radical piece of document that is supposed to move the country forward, and that's what the court has done. Now, I think that today's development is certainly much more welcome compared to what was going on yesterday with the protesters running amok. Today, you can see that there's heavy deployment of police personnel. The law and order is entirely under the control of the state. The onus is on the Pinarayi Vijayan government to ensure that the women that want to go and pray have a safe passage. So I'm very glad to see the police deployment and the preventive custody that they have enforced. So hopefully they will keep the protesters under control and ensure that the doors are open first of all, and the devotees are able to go. Everyone today is allowed to go, and hopefully everyone will have safe passage.
Absolutely. And you rightly pointed out, the onus is now on the government to ensure that they are implementing the Supreme Court verdict as well. I'm going to bring in Anurag Naidu, who's the member of Think Right. Anurag Naidu, since morning we've got two major developments that have taken place. The Devasam board is meeting at 11 o'clock to discuss some sort of a review, and 10:30 is the meeting of the BJP president as well, because they're going to be continuing with their protests. What do you have to say on this?
There is nothing that I can comment on the BJP president's meeting. That's a political meeting. But having Devasam board meeting at 11 o'clock is very crucial, because they will be deciding on the course of action. Because the fact of the matter here is definitely you are going to see a large number of women trying to enter into the temple, and you are going to witness a confrontation happening right in front of the temple. So it's for the state government and Devasam board today to decide on what needs to be done, or what kind of an amicable solution they need to reach within themselves, so that they go back to the Supreme
Anurag,
Court.
where is the question of an amicable solution?
You have to see very
No, 1 second. Where is the question of amicable solution when the Supreme Court has
spelled
it out in the verdict?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What do we need, see, as a devotee, I am saying that we need benevolence from the Supreme Court. The 4-1 judgment is quite a harsh judgment, and there has to be a balanced judgment. It's not a balanced judgment, as we say time and again. There has to be a balance between Article 14 and Article 25(1). So that is what everyone has been pitching for. So we are not radically pitching for an extreme right point of view or an extreme anti-women point of view. So we are pointing out the interest of the faith of millions of devotees, and majorly the Sthala Purana of that particular temple that has been an old scripture. So basing on the facts, we believe that there should have been a much more balanced verdict from the Supreme Court, and that's exactly why a review petition has been filed. So you have to understand that the balance will only come when both the confronting parties
have all the right,
agree to some
Anurag.
kind of an amicable
Anurag,
solution.
you guys
And
have
definitely
all the
Devasam
right to
board and
file
the
a
state
review
government.
petition if you're not happy with the verdict. But as far as the protests are concerned, so far, in the interim, between the filing of the review petition and the verdict coming out, should you not follow the Supreme Court's verdict? Why unnecessarily stop women from entering Sabrimala?
No, then if we follow, you see, if we follow, and everything just ends, right? Once a woman steps in, all that we were fighting for ends. So there's no point.
No, but
in going
excuse
for a
me,
review
this is
petition.
a Supreme
We
Court
exactly
verdict that you
wanted the
have
review
to
petition
follow.
be
It is the
taken
law
up
of the
before.
land. How can you go against a verdict that the top court of the country
Exactly,
has
we
given
have to.
out?
That is the
You
point.
have a right
Agree.
to file a
Agree to
review
that.
petition if you're
Agree
unhappy.
to that.
You have a right
Agree
to
to that.
protest
With all due respect
silently,
to-
but you do
with
not
all due
have the right
respect-
to stop anyone from entering the temple, given the fact that Supreme Court's verdict states clearly that they are allowed to enter the temple. It's as simple as that. I'm going to bring in Tara Krishnaswamy on that point. Tara Krishnaswamy.
See, I am in.
Hold on, Anurag.
Actually, my esteemed co-panelist, Mr. Anurag Naidu, gave away. He said everything that we been fighting for ends. Right? In other words, their fight is more important than the law. That this is the contention. This is not about the temple. This is not about the deity. It is about a set of people that are so given to their beliefs that they refuse to consider the law of the land, that they refuse to admit that they have to follow the law of the land, and they actually believe they're above the law just because they believe whatever it is they believe. It is not that the god or the deity or anything of that sort that comes in the way. So what if women enter? What is going to happen? The ex-president of the Devaswam board has made a comment that if women start to enter, this will become, Sabrimala will become like a sex tourism spot. Mr. Gopalakrishnan has made that comment, the ex-president of the Devaswam board, okay? So now, what is it you're protecting from, and who are you to protect that? Indeed, the deity needs to be protected from such people.
Absolutely.
The deity needs to be protected from such
how will you respond to this?
Place for such
how will you respond to this? Very good points being made by Tara Krishnaswamy, and Tara is saying nothing wrong. She's saying that, look, if there is a Supreme Court order, you better listen to it. You better follow it, and it is incumbent on the government as well to implement the Supreme Court order as well.
Exactly. Exactly. As a citizen of India, we are all bound to follow the directives of the Supreme Court, and there is no two views on that. But having said that, there are 500,000 of people on the streets of Kerala, majority of them women, who believe that the sanctity of the temple should be protected, and it's their belief. See, everything in Hinduism or a temple related stuff is based on belief system, right? It is not based on objective laws or the set
not
of
refuting that even for a second, Anurag. You're missing the point here.
It's unfortunate that the Supreme Court.
You're missing the point here, not refuting that for a second. We are not against beliefs of any cult, any community, any religion whatsoever. You want to challenge this? Go file a review petition. You want to challenge this? Protest in silence. Satyagraha does not mean that you really arm twist women and stop them physically from entering the temple.
So can't we wait for 125 hours? No, nobody is manhandling. See, nobody is taking a violent step. I have spoken to Rahul Ishwar personally, and there is an absolute Gandhian movement on the streets of Pangalam. And then I'm telling you this.
Not at all. Not at all. Tara Krishnaswamy, is this movement Gandhian? The manner in which they stop journalists from entering and women who are of the menstruating age from entering the temple, would you call that Gandhian?
You know, the 2 points that I want to rebut from what Mr. Anurag Naidu just said, and I really do appreciate his acknowledging, which he must, acknowledging that he is not above the law of the land. Nobody who protests is above the law of the land. Number one, as far as Gandhian, the reference to Gandhi goes, I think we should all stop doing that. You know, Gandhian movement wasn't just about non-violence. The fact is, he never infringed upon the rights of his fellow citizens. He never denied the rights of his fellow citizens. If anything, he championed the right of fellow citizens, those who didn't have as much rights as they should have had. Now, as far as beliefs go, his comment is to do with, you know, Hinduism has a set of beliefs and 500,000 people have a set of beliefs. At some point, including women, there were people that believed that sati is the right way to go. The women themselves who were committing sati believed that they should be allowed to jump into the funeral pyre of their husbands, and yet sati is outlawed. There were protests. Similarly, when SC entry, scheduled caste entry was allowed into temples, please go read your history, after the Pune Pact, Gandhi documents, Gandhi himself documents, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people protested, wrote letters to him, all the temple boards, all the so-called upper caste saying, this will defile the temple, this is against the beliefs of Hinduism, the exact same arguments that the people today are, the protesters, so-called devotees today are using, right?
Yes, Anurag.
It is
Anurag,
just
you were trying to make a
how
point for
history
a long
repeats
time.
itself.
What is it that you want to say, Anurag?
I'll make a point.
Because I have to go to Deepa
make a
Ishwar
point.
as well. She's also live with us.
Now Tara was talking. She was talking about the Supreme Court judgment, and I'll take the reference of the same Supreme Court judgment. Indu Malhotra in her dissent clearly stated, sati is no comparison to the matter that we are talking here. Sati is a general social evil, and what we are discussing here is pertaining to one particular temple and the belief systems that are surrounded.
So you make your point vis-a-vis the temple. You make your point vis-a-vis the Sabrimala temple entry for women.
Right. Exactly.
Go on.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Sati cannot be compared. Nor can triple talaq be compared, nor can any other general social evil, which is some kind of a misogynistic act, can be compared. This is about one particular temple. There are millions of other, hundreds and thousands of other Ayyappa Swami temple where women can go. So why about so much of fuss about this one particular temple? We have to protect our diversity that we have in India. You see, there is a 17th century shrine in Japan,
to protect your tradition over gender justice is the takeaway I'm getting from your conversation.
I'll tell you. It's not about gender justice. See, you're taking the wrong. You're taking the argument onto the wrong path. It's not about gender justice. I've been telling time and again.
What
it's
is it
about
about?
one particular temple and the belief system that are surrounded around one particular temple.
Completely wrong.
You know, one second, hold on.
It is
I'm
about
going to
the
bring in
Sthala
Deepa
Purana.
Ishwar.
It is
Completely
No,
about
no,
the
one
Sthala
second.
Purana
Both of you hold on.
which is
Both of you hold
based
on. Both of you hold on. I'm going to bring in Deepa
I believe
Ishwar
I
now.
can share the copy.
I'm going to bring
I
in
can share
Deepa
the copy
Ishwar.
of that
One
which has
second,
been
Anurag.
submitted
One
to the
second.
Supreme
One
Court.
second. Deepa Ishwar. You are a woman yourself. All right. Do you make this about tradition versus gender justice?
No, I think it's an extremely nonsensical argument. I think it's a cleverly manipulated argument that there is gender inequality happening at Sabrimala. Sabrimala is one place where clearly exists no sort of discrimination in terms of religion, in terms of caste, in terms of section, in terms of different classes of the society, nothing at all. And never has.
Then why is it that women are not allowed? Then why is it?
Ma'am, there are lakhs of women at Sabrimala every year. We only have a mere age regulation for people there because the DT there is in an eternal celibate state. The DT there happens to be a male DT. So the DT at a Naishtika Brahmacharya state has to be away from young people of the opposite gender. So women being of the opposite gender of the DT has to stay away in their young ages between
So
10
you
to 50.
want the
What kind of
menstruating
discrimination are you
women of the
talking about?
menstruating
Did I even
age?
talk about menstruation? Did I even talk about menstruation? Why are you bringing in menstruation?
Okay, young
here?
women. You spoke about young women. So you're saying that we should deny them the right to pray.
No, I'm saying that we should uphold the rights of the DT. I'm not saying that we should deny anyone the right to pray. I'm saying the rights of the DT should be upheld. At the same time, there should be a clear balance between balancing the rights of the DT and the right to pray.
Right.
It's
I have
not
a
Deepa,
comment
talking
on
about
Deepa.
Article 14. There is also an Article 25 in the Constitution.
Deepa, what do
Why
you have to
trying
say about the
weaken
Supreme
Article
Court
25?
verdict? What do you have to say about the Supreme Court verdict?
The Supreme Court verdict has been by far one of the most insensitive verdicts that has come out. It's not in favor of the
All right, if you
mass
feel
belief.
that
It is
way,
only taken into
if you feel
consideration
that way,
Article 14.
Deepa,
It's not even
if
looked
you
into
feel
Article
that way,
25
Deepa,
and the right
don't
to
you all
belief.
have the right to go and file a review petition and not come out on the
done that.
street in protest and try to arm twist the women who are trying to enter Sabrimala?
We have done that.
Who are you to tell us to stop believing in what we are believing?
No,
We
no,
have already
who are
filed
you
the
to
review
not follow the
petition.
law of the land? I'm sorry,
We are
Tara
following the law of the land.
Krishna
We
Swami,
have already
Tara
filed
Krishna
the
Swami,
review
come
petition
in.
there.
It's the law of the land. It's a Supreme Court
So
verdict that has
let me
come out in the
complete.
interim till you
Complete.
file a review petition. There is
Ma'am,
nobody who cannot follow, including the government, the Supreme Court
Ma'am,
verdict.
if there is
Tara
a
Krishna
Supreme Court
Swami.
verdict,
Tara
there is
Krishna
also a
Swami.
belief. If there is a Supreme Court verdict, there is also a belief on one side. A belief is not something that we can experiment with until the Supreme
Deepa
Court
needs
takes
to
its own sweet
stop
time
All right.
to take the
All
review
right, one second.
petition.
Let Tara Krishna Swami come in.
Yeah, I'm not interrupting anyone. I really appreciate if you all don't interrupt me. So, you know, for this many years, women have respected the High Court, Kerala High Court verdict that women between the ages of 10 and 50 are not allowed, and they have stayed away. They have not tried to, you know, pull the same
about the
stunts and
verdict.
say we are above the law and we are going to somehow magically go in there. Now that
No.
the Supreme Court
One
has
minute, let
ruled
her
that women
finish.
are allowed to go,
She wanted
can the rest of
uninterrupted
them
time.
respect
Let her
the
finish.
law?
Let her finish making a point. I'm coming to you. One second.
Yeah,
One
sure.
second. Go on, Tara.
The women who were barred entry, the section of women that were barred entry so far, had the decency to respect the then law and not go to Sabrimala. Now that the Supreme Court has ruled that they are allowed to go, can the rest of them be decent enough to respect the law? That is question number one.
Right.
Question number,
Absolutely
or are they above the
destructive
law?
argument.
It's one rule for the women when the verdict is unfavorable. It's another rule for these people when the verdict is unfavorable. Number two, right? The Devaswam board has said now in the past 2-3 days they will not provide toilets for women, that they will not ensure safe passage. What is that if not just gender discrimination? When the court rules, if what does that mean? There aren't enough toilets for women? What are you talking about? If there aren't enough toilets for women, that is clear and open gender discrimination. It's a public place. If women have been going, if women up to the age of 10 and above the age of 50 have been going, are there not sufficient public toilets? What kind of threat is that? Saying that we won't provide toilets.
Very well said.
Okay,
yes.
are you done?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. Go,
point
come in,
number
come in,
one.
Deepa. Come in, Deepa.
Yeah. So point number one, you were saying that so far we had a 1991 verdict, so all of us were abiding by the law, and we were sitting at home because the High Court law has stated that we are not supposed to
So you were
enter.
respecting the law
May
at that
I
point of
correct
time.
you? May I correct you, dear Tara ma'am, that we were not sitting at home because of the law. We were sitting at home because we believe it is right to sit at home and wait till 50 because the nature of the DT is
Exactly.
such. The High Court verdict only supports us to do that. It has nothing to do with the High Court law. People like you are manipulating it that, okay, this
No,
law was
one
brought
second,
by the
one
High
second.
Court, and now
This
another
is not
court
about
has
finger
come.
pointing at
completely
somebody
missing my
like
point.
Tara Krishna Swami. She's not coming
She's
out and saying
completely
any of this.
missing
The
my
Supreme
point.
Court has come out and said all of this, Deepa Ishwar.
No, I'm
No, no, no.
countering
She's
Tara.
completely
I'm-
missing
no,
my
no, no.
point. I'm not saying Deepa is sitting at home. Deepa is anyway sitting at home because
See,
I am
you are
saying those of us
interrupting
that
me.
don't believe that we should sit at home have been respecting the law. Those of us that believe that women are allowed to enter
No,
have
it's
still
not
been
One second,
respecting the
because
Kerala
of
High
breaking
Court
news coming in.
verdict.
I'm sorry
Deepa,
about
wait.
interrupting you.
You
Hold
don't,
on,
you,
hold
you
on.
don't
Coming
understand
back
what
to
I'm saying.
both of you.
About the belief.
Hold on to your thoughts. Hold on to your thoughts. We're getting some breaking news coming in there. I can see there's news just trickling in. Three female police personnel was stopped by Rahul Ishwar and company. That's the latest coming in right there. Three female police personnel was stopped by Rahul Ishwar and company. There you go. Yeah, that's the latest coming in there. Sabrimala gates are just about to open in a couple of hours from now, and you've got three female police personnel being stopped by Rahul Ishwar. Deepa Ishwar, I'm going to come to you now. You were talking about gender equality, you were talking about tradition, you were talking about, of course, following the law of the land as well. How is it that Rahul Ishwar goes ahead and stops female police personnel who are doing their job? The government is duty bound to follow the Supreme Court verdict. The police is duty bound to do their job following the state government's orders. How is this even possible? How can you do this?
Unfortunately, their jobs are interfering with the beliefs that have been in our minds for centuries together. It is absolutely not possible for us to take a Supreme Court verdict which came in hardly 2 weeks back, digest it down our throats and wait there and
Then you
see
protest.
these young women
Then you
walking
legally
on Sabrimala.
protest.
That will not happen. We
Deepa,
are legally protesting
Deepa,
because
legally
it's women
protest.
that believes in wait
Deepa,
for it.
then you
We can-
legally protest. You do not stop
While-
female personnel to
While
female
the legal-
police personnel to stop
While the legal
doing their
process
job.
takes its own time, unfortunately, the Supreme Court is closed right now. So while the legal process takes its own time, it is
So
not
you're
possible
saying
for
y'all
us
will
to
take the
make
law into
our
your own
beliefs
hands
solid.
now. You're
We
saying
are
y'all
not
will take
doing
the law in
anything.
your own
I'm sure
hands?
there has been no violence where Rahul Ishwar is involved. I'm sure there has been no violence where Rahul Ishwar has been
So
involved.
why did he
His way
stop
of
the
stopping
female
him-
police personnel?
That is the way you're reporting. I'm just getting the breaking news through you, so I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm sure he has not stopped it through violence. If there is peace there, that is legal. Anything which is violence there, that can be
I'm
counted
giving
as
you the
illegal.
news. We
But
are a
there is
very
no
credible news
violent
channel. I'm giving you a
stopping
new.
of women.
I'm giving you the news that Rahul Ishwar has stopped three female police personnel from entering that particular area. That's the latest news that is coming in. We're breaking it right here, and I'm going to go straight across to Tara Krishnaswamy, who continues to be with us as well. Tara Krishnaswamy, don't you feel this is disrespecting the law of the land and the Supreme Court verdict?
First of all, when you stop someone from doing something, when they don't do it voluntarily and you're stopping them, that itself is the use of force. That itself is violence.
And that
to
itself
pretend
means that
that
you're
is
taking the
not
law in your
violence
own
or
hands.
Gandhian, when you... Absolutely. That means you think you're above the law. This is vigilantism at its worst. This is cowboy politics at its worst. Second of all, to pretend that your beliefs are superior to someone else's beliefs and the law is just appalling. I have the greatest respect for Sabrimala, and I or any number of people can believe that women of all ages should be allowed to go. And even
It is
though
not
we
about
believe
your
that,
beliefs, ma'am.
even though
You
we
say you're a
believe that,
devotee
we
of
have been
Lord
quietly
Ayappa
waiting.
Sabrimala. You don't even want to know what is the nature of his DT there. You don't even know what is his choice there. What are his
One
rights
second,
there.
Deepa, it doesn't matter what anyone
Lady,
thinks.
you need to calm down.
Deepa, it doesn't
Calm
matter what
down.
anyone
All this
thinks. The
devotion
highest
should calm
court
you
of law,
down.
the apex court, has put out a verdict. You have a problem, file a review petition. In the interim,
We have done
don't
that.
try to take the
We
law in
have
your own
done
hands.
that.
That is the point we're trying to make. And that is exactly the point that Tara is also
Correct.
trying to make.
And-
I think Anurag wanted to come in for a very long
Correct.
time.
What I am saying is that so long as there
Yeah,
is a
okay,
verdict
go on.
in place, so long as there is a verdict in place, people have to patiently wait for that to change. If it is not favorable, you have to
That is
apply
not
for a
possible.
petition and wait.
That's not
You don't
possible
get to
because
disobey the law in the
unfortunately,
meanwhile.
I believe it's about young women entering the temple. Even if one young woman enters the temple because the verdict says so, it is tarnishing our beliefs. How do you think we can sit back patiently and look at what is
So
being our
you're
beliefs
scared.
for centuries
So
together?
you protest silently, you file a review
You-
petition,
so you
you've got a
think-
legal
you-
recourse at hand. Do not try to arm twist the women who are trying to enter. Do
Nobody
not
has
take
done
the law
that.
into your
Nobody
own
has
hands.
done that. Don't
Anurag
put words
Naidu,
into my mouth.
Anurag Naidu,
Nobody has twisted
Anurag Naidu,
anybody's
you're a
arm.
learned man, and you are supporting this.
Oh, of course. See, on the basis, see, I'm supporting that. I'm supporting this on the basis of facts, and let me make it very clear that I've gone to the core of what this belief system is all about. And there is a very strong belief system based on scriptures which are centuries old. Okay, so we have to believe in that. And there are certain things that our Hinduism has got these things as the core of what we stand for, and we have to protect that. If we still don't protect that, what is our education coming or doing a job for us? It's just nothing. It's just useless. And you're talking about, see, it's a stereotyped argument and question asking time and again, you know, Supreme Court, you're disrespecting Supreme Court, you're disrespecting Supreme Court. See, we are not using the words like disrespecting or stopping or heckling women.
You are not using the words, but see what you're doing on ground.
And you're taking a
But you
reference
see
of
what
Rahul
is
Ishwar.
happening on
I'm
ground.
telling you, he's
You may not be using those words, but your actions show that you're disrespecting the Supreme Court verdict right there. You know, Deepa Ishwar, it is the tradition versus gender justice versus respecting the law. What is your pecking order of priority right here? Deepa Ishwar
are being violent with Rahul Ishwar.
No, I have one simple question. No, one second, Anurag, hold on. I have one simple question for Deepa Ishwar. In terms of tradition versus gender justice versus respecting the law of the land, what is your pecking order of priority?
It would definitely be our beliefs, because we know why we believe in what we are believing, and then it would be respecting the court. And now let me tell you that here, if I'm supposed to ask you a counter question, did the Supreme Court strike any balance between belief and law? They didn't do it. They didn't look into the rights of the DT.
But I have no right to comment on what the Supreme Court has said. If they've given a verdict out, I would stand by it. As a citizen of this country, I would stand by it. It's as simple as that. Neetu is joining us on the phone line. She's got some updates, I believe. Over to you, Neetu.
We are at Pampa right now. Now, before the Supreme Court order, this was the last point where women in the age group of 10 to 50 could enter. Now, here we can see that there are protesters who are over here. Though the police has said that no protest will be allowed, they are calling this as a prayer satyagraha. They have signed and given that there won't be any kind of violence and that they take responsibility for anything that is happening over here. Let me just try and speak to Rahul Ishwar, who's here as part of the protest. Rahul, we saw visuals of y'all when women police officers were coming back. They were stopped and heckled. So, can you just tell us who gave you the right and that to stop women police officers on their duty?
Two things. First of all, let me apologize to CNN News 18 and Neetu for what happened yesterday. It was very unfortunate. We deeply apologize. That was never a part of the plan. Our overexcited mothers overstepped the limit. I concede and I apologize. Second, please remember, it was an assurance from CM. It was an assurance given by Devasam President Padmakumar. It was an assurance restated today morning by Anil Kant, who is the DGP in charge, ADGP in charge. So when we were speaking, and please remember, we were about to have food and disperse and go to the temple. Then these three women went there, and we respectfully said this is a violation of what CM said, because there is no situation as of now.
But they are women police officers on duty. How can you stop them?
Ma'am, yes, but right now even Pinarayi Vijayan sir said they will only be deployed at Pamba. So how can a Home Minister and a Chief Minister take a stand just like that?
But Chief Minister clearly said if need be, they will be deputed.
What is the need? What is the need?
That is up to the police and the administration.
See, please remember, this kind of, don't you think there should be a strong rationale, at least for the media? Leave alone us, we are ordinary people. But don't you think they should at least tell the media what is the rationale? And do you know what is the rationale? They said they accidentally entered. The police went on record to say that, these three women, of which one was a young police officer, accidentally got up. See, that's...
All right, we'll try to patch that line back on to Neetu in just about a bit. But the question really is that the government is duty bound to follow the Supreme Court verdict, and police is duty bound to follow the government orders as well. And there you go, Rahul Ishwar and company trying to stop three female police personnel from entering Sabrimala. 5 p.m. is when the gates to Sabrimala open. We're on top of the story and tracking all the developments very closely. There's been a showdown before the temple gates open. On the left side of your screens, you do see the protesters protesting silently, but there are a few protesters who are not protesting silently as well. They're trying to physically stop female police officers from entering Sabrimala as well. Neetu is back with us now. Neetu, what does Rahul Ishwar really have to say about the government doing its job and the police trying to just do their job? How can he take the law in his own hands?
need to go for at least drinks by 8:30. Then this particular thing happened. It was a violation of what Chief Minister of Kerala said. It is an insult that happened to Chief Minister of Kerala, not us. I hope police will at least apologize to CM of Kerala.
So that is what Rahul Ishwar is telling us, that these protests in Pampa will continue is what they are saying. If any women in the age group of 10 to 50 come in, they will lie on this floor is what they are saying. And they have also explanation for stopping women police officers in uniform on duty.
So, Neetu, Rahul Ishwar has brazenly gone on to say that he will stop the police officers from doing their duty who are just following the government's order, the government which is duty bound to follow the Supreme Court verdict.
Yes, that's correct. That's exactly what we heard him say, that we stopped the women police officers. They were in their uniform, they were on duty, and he's saying that this is something against what the Chief Minister said. Basically, the Chief Minister and DGP had earlier also said that as of now we are deploying them only to Pampa, but if need be, women police officers will be deputed from Pampa to Sannidhanam. Now, what is the need? That is for the administration and the government to decide, because we have seen the kind of violence that has been unleashed, the kind of hooliganism that has been unleashed on the roads of Nilakal yesterday. So it's up to the police to decide to find law and order, to make sure that devotees in this age group, if anybody comes, can reach safely. It's the duty of the police to kind of ensure that they are here. So how can someone stop police officers? But as I said, the explanation when we personally spoke to these women.
All right, let's try to get Neetu back on from Pamba. We're the only channel reporting live from Pamba. This is a historic day for Sabrimala, and 6 protesters, remember, were arrested from Nilakal as well. Kerala continues to be on the edge. The latest coming in is that Rahul Ishwar and company tried to stop 3 police officers from conducting their duties and doing their job. The government, of course, was bound to follow the Supreme Court verdict. Police were simply following what the government's instructions were, and Rahul Ishwar and company tried to stop the police from doing its own job. That's the latest coming in. The anti-women entry protesters also have been removed. There's been a massive deployment of the police force in Nilakal, in Pamba. This is a showdown that has begun before the temple gates open. On the left side of your screens, you are also seeing the protesters silently protesting as well. We have to wait and watch to see how the story really comes up and shapes up. We'll be on top of this all along the way. All right, we also have Tara Krishnaswamy with us, Anurag Naidu, Deepa Ishwar as well. Deepa Ishwar, we just saw Rahul Ishwar going on to say that he did and they did stop the police personnel from entering. He's admitted to it. Now what do you have to say, Deepa?
Ma'am, I just have to say, with all due respect to your channel, you're reporting fake news. We very clearly heard what Rahul Ishwar said.
Rahul himself has gone ahead and admitted it, and you're saying we are reporting fake news?
Yes, because Rahul Ishwar said something else and you're putting words into
What did Rahul Ishwar say? Deepa, then what did Rahul Ishwar say? What did Rahul Ishwar say?
Say very clearly that they went there accidentally, and you are reporting that they went there to perform.
So even if they went there accidentally, even if even if they went there accidentally, why were they stopped? Rahul said we stopped them.
Admit that it was a fake news.
No, one second, please, Deepa, before you point fingers at us, this is not about CNN News 18. This is about the fact that Rahul Ishwar tried to stop the policeman. He's gone. Why don't we play that chunk again? We will play that chunk back again, where he's gone on to say that we did stop the police from entering.
Please play the chunk where he
We
did
will
say
play
that
the chunk
police
again.
said
I'm
they went
requesting the
there
producers to keep the chunk
accidentally.
ready so that we can play that out again for you. Before you point fingers on CNN News 18 and say what we are reporting is fake, see, then look for yourself what Rahul Ishwar has admitted. I'm going to go straight across. All right, we've got that. We've got that bite. Play that out. Let's play that bite out for you. No, 1 second. All right, we're getting that bite in just about a bit. We are going to get that bite for you, Deepa, in just about a bit. Hold on. You will talk after that bite is played out. I'm going to come back again to you and check with you whether you still feel that is fake news or not. Till then, I'm going to go to Tara Krishnaswamy. Tara Krishnaswamy, you saw what is happening at Pamba. We're getting those ground reports from Pamba as well. Police personnel are being stopped from entering Sabrimala. What do you have to say about this, Tara?
Yeah, I heard the Mr. Rahul Ishwar's clip as well. He said that and assuming that he got it right himself, that one of them said that they may have gone there accidentally, not the other two. At any rate, what I get from that clip
The two of
is
them went to perform
that
second, let her
he
finish.
acts,
One second, let her
he and a
finish.
certain
With
set
them-
of
Let her
devotees.
finish. Tara, go on.
Yeah, what I get from that clip, and he and that set of protesters act like they own the place. He's asking questions like, why should they go there? Why should they be deployed there? You know, how can they go there? Why not? It's a public place. The Supreme Court has it has always been a public place. Those
You
hills don't
say
belong to you,
the
Mr.
temple
Rahul.
is a public
Anybody can go
place.
there, and the police absolutely. Calm down, lady. Calm down.
No, you're
I'm
quoting
not.
a
I'm not
completely
interrupting you.
different
Don't
point
interrupt
Deepa,
me.
let Tara finish. I'm going to let
It's
you
okay,
speak
you can
as
still
well.
wait.
I'm going to let you speak as well. Instead of screaming and shouting, let's improve our arguments. So go on, Tara.
Yeah. So the questions that are being asked of police personnel as if they don't have agency to decide where they want to go, and people themselves don't have agency to decide where they want to go. Why should they go there? They said who are they to go there? That's none of his business. He doesn't own the place. There is a sense of entitlement that that place belongs to some private set of people, and in general other people shouldn't go there without permission or shouldn't go there at all. That itself is shocking. The second thing, to think the law is accountable to them instead of them being accountable to the law, is even more shocking. In fact, Deepa herself made a declaration on your channel that I think you shouldn't underplay. I think you got a declaration out of her beautifully in your order of importance. What is more important, the belief? Will you follow your belief or will you follow the law? And she said, I will
She'll
follow my
follow the
belief
tradition.
above
That's right.
the law. The law comes second. Yeah, the law comes second.
That's
that
right.
I think summarizes everything that is wrong with the protesters. They actually don't believe that they must follow the law. They think they're above the law, they
Deepa.
define the law, and they own the place.
Absolutely, Tara, well said. But Deepa, it is not about Rahul Ishwar. It is about anybody trying to take the law into their own hands. And in this case, it has been Rahul Ishwar.
Okay, now I wish you would give me uninterrupted time. the way you
Absolutely,
gave
go
Tara.
ahead. Go ahead.
First of all, the CM, Honorable CM of Kerala, had told us very clearly that they will not deploy women police officers beyond Pampa. I know what you're countering me. You will say that, but if need be, he might do that. But with need, what he meant is if violence is there, he will do it. But to be honest, there has been violence only at very few places. It's not that it's huge violence and it's like huge protest here and there. The basic nature, like your own reporter Neetu had reported, the basic nature is prayer, chants and calling Sharanam, Swami Sharanam. So there's violence only at very small sections of Nilakil, etc. But at Pamba, there was no violence. But in spite of that, there were 3 women constables who went up ahead beyond the Pampa. So when Rahul Ishwar had questioned them or asked them, why are you going up there? The Honorable Chief Minister had told us it's not that. This is against the Honorable Chief Minister's promise. So they said we accidentally went there. This is what happened. So it's not that he was
All right,
trying
you know
to
what?
stop
Now I'm
women
going to
constables
show you.
from
Now I'm going to show our
duty.
viewers what really happened. Rahul Ishwar on record. Let's play that out.
First of all, let me apologize to CNN News 18 and Neetu for what happened yesterday. It was very unfortunate. We deeply apologize. That was never a part of the plan. Our overexcited mothers overstepped the limit. I concede and I apologize.